So this is something that happened to me about 15 years ago, give and take, somewhere around there.
So around 30.
Yeah, right around your age, exactly. So it was right around the time that it was this where Matt ended up was no longer in my house. So that hit me hard. One, just because I knew that was hard, but I knew that had to happen, right? Because I knew that living situation would never work. Every relationship that I had was never going to be real, because you can't make that real with somebody living,
Right.
your baby's mom living in the house, right?
Right.
So around that time, I ended up I was in a relationship with someone, and it was an awful relationship, very very similar to Jason's. It was just toxic, and we were both toxic to each other, to be honest.
Yeah.
It just we didn't mesh, and we ended up splitting off, and there was sometime in there where, and it was probably before we even split off, that mentally I was no longer okay, and I knew people saw that. It's just hard not to see that.
Right.
And then so when I ended up eventually, pretty much just by myself, and then every other day Matt came over, and then I'd go to work, but at this point I was like zombie mode. I'd walk around, I'd go to work,
Yep.
and I'd come home, and it just sucked.
I mean, exactly what you talked about.
It was basically like all joy sucked out of my life. I mean, that's literally how it was. And this went on. It wasn't forever and a day, but it was probably
Felt like it.
Yeah, it was probably about 10 months. It was under a year, I know, but it was close to a year.
Right.
And then there was a time I was like, I need help. I need to do something. This sucks, and I can't continue to live like this. It was very unhealthy. So I went to the doctor. Luckily, I didn't have the white coat syndrome thing, but
So you're willing to go.
I was willing to go. But and the thing about it, I don't like going to the doctor. I mean, not because I have any fear. I ain't gonna go to the doctor, right?
Right.
But at that point, I was just like, I need somebody, do something. So I was like, dude, I went over there, and I was like, all right, I need antidepressant pills or something, because I can't live like this. And he goes, how's your sleep? I'm like, sucks. He goes, well, let's fix that first. I was like, oh, okay, it's cool. So he gave me Ambien. You know Ambien? It's a
know the name, but not.
It's pretty potent. So I was probably I was lighter than I was now, like 150. So the first time I took it, like I was like, oh man, I'm getting tired, and I was like, you're stumbling, even just to get up. It was that potent. So, and I ended up enjoying it. I was just like, okay, cool. You know what? When I come home, when Matt's not there, I'm just gonna. I watch the clock to say, how early can I take it? Or how far can I make it, right? Is it 4 o'clock? Is it 5 o'clock? I had no will to do anything.
Right.
So I was just trying to sleep it off, right?
Yeah.
Just wait till the next day. And then eventually you take it long enough, and then it just it doesn't really have the same effect. So it's kind of like you're fighting Ambien. So it's kind of like not quite high, but kind of sort of. And then I was doing that for a minute, and then I was just like, okay, that's not what the point of going to the doctor, right? I mean, I'm not. This is not working.
Right. Just creating another problem.
I'm creating another problem, right? And the reason why I didn't get to Jason's point was because the whole reason why I did, all that time living with his mom and trying to be with my son, because I wanted to give him something I didn't have.
Right. So you had something to live for.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Even though it was just like I had no joy, I had nothing. Even not. I love my kid, but I didn't have any feelings. It's like life just sucked, right?
You were just in your dark hole. You don't know.
I was in my dark hole, and I couldn't get out of it, right? And so I was just like, okay, I got to stop taking Ambien. Right? I just have to. That's not helping. Made a different kind of problem. So I started, again, I'm a Christian person, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna pray, I'm gonna go to church, I'm gonna read the Bible, I'm gonna do anything and everything, and I tried, and nothing, right? Nothing. It felt like I was just doing the motions of everything. And then one day, I ended up listening to. I know exactly where it was. It's in the Galleria Mall, and I was listening to this person. It was a Christian lady telling her story, right? And her story was rough too. So she was had a horrible life and worked her way out of it, right? And but she was kind of giving a good story and laughing about things or telling jokes, and I laughed. And when I laughed, I stopped and thought about it for a second because it was just like that's the first time I actually laughed.
Yeah.
It was like a breakthrough. It wasn't like everything's great. It was just
Good first step.
it was a great first step. And that's where it was just like, wow. I mean, exactly why I remember exactly where I was when it happened, and I was just like, okay,
Yep.
there's hope. There literally is hope. I mean, I don't have to be here.
Was that like a little glimpse of who you used to be? When you left, did you feel that?
Yeah, it felt normal,
Yep.
right?
Felt normal.
It felt like I was normal, and
Yep.
it was just like, okay, cool, great. I mean, I was so excited in my head because I hadn't felt like that in such
Right.
a long time.
Right.
Still had a journey to go. Don't get me wrong, but I knew there was hope.
It was
So-
still there.
it was still there. So, I continued to listen to her. And the thing about it, like, so I skipped out a part with my mom when she tried to, she tried to help. I guess she didn't know what to do. So she called my dad, and my dad came down, and he was here for about a week. And and then he left. During the time, he actually gave me some books. And I was just like, okay, that was kind of worthless. I didn't get nothing out of it. I'm going to read the books, right? Well, on my journey up, those books helped.
Yeah.
So that was it was kind of strange because it was just like those books, like one of them was Five Languages of Love,
Yeah.
and then there was other books that he gave me and other books I got, and it was learning about love, learning about myself, learning about how to take care of other people, and it wasn't a fast journey up, but it was a journey up.
Right.
And like when I finally came out of it, I was a better person for
Yeah.
it. I was a lot stronger.
Yeah.
I was a lot more understanding. And I can now understand people who go through that.
Yep.
Because I've been there.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh well, so you feel depressed, so so you're unhappy. No, I mean you just freaking sucks. And you don't know what to do. Because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. I mean, it was like there was
It's
you're
like quicksand.
lost.
It brings you down slow, and you just don't know how to get out.
And you know how to get out.
Yep.
But I climbed myself out, man, and
Yep.
and I seriously, I mean, again, listening to motivational, just people talking. It didn't have to be exactly, motivating me per se, but just knowing other people's stories that that things they went through, and knowing that there was hope at the end, right?
Yep.
That they could do it, you can do it. And again, it's just like, okay, well, it's like working out or anything else. It's like, well, let me make myself stronger mentally.
Do you know what got you there?
What
Got you into that position? Was it Matt leaving?
I think it was a lot of things. I think it was
How do you prevent yourself from ever falling in that again?
Oh,
Did you
because I know.
identify?
No. I know who I am now. I mean, that's the thing. And so that's
Because his was like a strong cause and effect.
right.
Yours is different. Yours was
Right.
just life.
Mine was life. Mine was my son. Mine was the relationship, and it was just kind of like just a spiral, man. It was just kind of just going down, right? So it's not so much. That's the thing. Like the cause and effect thing. It's about where I am now mentally, understanding because I can think back and I still know those pains.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
I will never go back there,
No.
but I know how it was.
Yep.
So it's like it's not. Yeah, I won't. I am good. I am.
Yep.
That's why I am the way I am now because of my struggles.
Yep.
And it's not the topic, but it's when raising my kids. That's that's the thing. It's like I know I don't want them to struggle, but I know the person I am is because of the struggles I went through.
Right.
And I definitely don't want anybody to go through depression.
No.
That really sucks.
No.
But it did make me a stronger person coming up.
Yep.
So
That's
that's
amazing.
my
That's amazing.